talk about a different movie, 2020 has been a very unique year. And I would say probably millions of professional salespeople went from face to face interactions to now selling remotely. And it might be a little bit more difficult to pick up on some of those things. Dave,
For sure.
can you touch on some tips that you have with all the points that we've gone over so far in our 9 days of solar sales? What are your tips to those who are now transitioning to selling remotely in the COVID-19 era?
All right. You're talking about running the meeting over Zoom or Teams format,
Correct. Yep.
right? Yeah. The soft skill selling rules still apply, meaning you still have to ask questions. You still have to set expectations. I want you to start off those meetings doing a very good job of setting an agenda, right? When you hop on a Zoom appointment, don't just get into it. Treat it as if you were there and do what you would do. Explain to people what's going to happen. Establish those ground rules. Understand what they want to have happen. Get their agenda on the table, right? Nick said this earlier. Your ability to establish ground rules early on, that's the experience. That's where they become comfortable with you. So do a good job at the beginning establishing their agenda. Do a very good job of establishing your agenda. Let people know what you're going to do. Give them an understanding that you're going to ask questions, right? What you want to ask, right? Then ask those pain questions. Don't take shortcuts when it comes to budget. Do not take shortcuts when it comes to decision-making process, right? So the Zoom meeting, the soft skill part of selling applies, right? It still applies. Now, technically, make sure you have the right connection. Make sure you're looking at the screen. Make sure their lighting is right. Don't give anybody any reason to be uncomfortable with you. And a lot of times the technical portion of the meeting is what makes people uncomfortable, right? The spacing between you and that camera. The lighting, either the lighting behind you, behind the screen, not behind your body. Remember, lighting, people look at lighting, they look at you, they see light behind you. That's offensive to the eyes. So make sure your light is above you or in front of you, okay? Make sure you're close enough to the screen, but not too close. Make sure your camera's at eye level. Do not look at your phone. Do not look at other screens, right? Your ability to help people be comfortable with you can happen on these Zoom meetings. It's a foregone conclusion, group. This stuff isn't going anywhere. You've got to be good at it. You got to have a good microphone. You've got to have the right technology. Don't be on mute because you'll have to go off mute, right? So many different things to understand when it comes to virtual selling and selling remotely, right? It's not going anywhere. So we need to become very, very good at it because your competition will. That's a must.
I couldn't agree more. And there are two softwares that I'd like to bring up here, specifically for the solar industry, that I have seen just do an exceptional job in aiding all of the different things that you just talked about there, Dave, where you still need to show up as a professional. And the two softwares that I personally use and see several other people in the industry using, and if you're not, you really should consider. The first one is SolarGraph, where you can put together a proposal in 10 minutes or less. It's fantastic. The second one is called Loom, Loom, and it's a free software where you can actually record your screen, your desktop screen, and it'll take a video of you and record your voice so that you can actually give a demo or a presentation answering a question perhaps that is too lengthy for an email, or even just introducing yourself or delivering a proposal. Hey, Dave, here's your proposal. There's a couple items I want to show you on page 1, 4, and 5. Rather than putting all of that into text in an email or getting them on the phone and trying to walk them through it, having the ability to present in real time, it just shows professionalism through and through. So those are two things that I use personally in my day-to-day, and I strongly encourage the rest of our installers, on top of what Dave just said there, just follow those rules, and I promise you will crush it in the remote selling era of COVID-19.